Something unprecedented is happening in the atmosphere right now that's about to completely rewrite winter weather across America. If you're watching this video, you need to stay until the 2-minute 30-second mark. That's when I'll reveal the exact date this massive change begins. Trust me, you'll want to mark it on your calendar. 3 major weather models just locked onto the same shocking scenario after days of complete chaos and disagreement. When the European model, GFS, and Ensemble systems suddenly agree this strongly, meteorologists pay very close attention. Here's what's wild. The temperature volatility we've been seeing across both medium and long-range forecast has been absolutely unprecedented. This level of model uncertainty usually signals something massive is brewing, and we finally know what it is. Drop your location in the comments right now, and I'll personally give you a detailed forecast for your exact area over the next 7 days. I read every single comment and respond with specifics for your town or city. After days of wild fluctuations, the atmospheric pattern is stabilizing around a scenario that could change everything. What's developing challenges everything we thought we knew about this winter's trajectory and seasonal expectations. The models are screaming that a dramatic cold flip occurs after January 10th. And here's your first reward for watching. This isn't just another minor temperature swing. We're looking at a fundamental pattern transformation. Before I reveal the 2 massive global atmospheric drivers behind this, let me ask you something that's been bothering meteorologists everywhere. What makes this forecast so compelling compared to the disappointing winter predictions we've seen recently? The answer lies in pattern recognition. To understand why this pattern is different, we need to examine how the last 5 winters have systematically failed expectations. The early 20s featured long warm-ups followed by brief, underwhelming cool-downs that never delivered sustained cold. Repeatedly, long-range forecasts showed impressive cold patterns that either got delayed indefinitely or weakened dramatically. Those promised Arctic blasts consistently turned into quick, minor temperature drops that disappointed winter enthusiasts everywhere. But here's the plot twist. The last 2 winters completely reversed this trend, delivering extended cold periods with shorter, weaker warm-ups. Even the recent Christmas warmth, while historic, ended up shorter and less intense than models initially predicted. This pattern recognition suggests the upcoming cold forecast has much higher reliability than typical long-range projections. And here's something that should get your attention. Right now, most areas aren't experiencing significant warmth, meaning the mild period hasn't even begun yet. What's remarkable is that this setup could bypass the typical lengthy warm-up and transition directly into sustained Arctic conditions. Are you starting to see why this is different? Let me give you the current situation before we get to the big reveal at 2:30. Currently, minor clipper systems are tracking through the Great Lakes, Mid-Atlantic, and Northeast. These systems will drop 1 to 3 inches across affected regions, serving as previews of much more significant activity ahead. A stronger clipper approaches January 4th into 5th, potentially delivering 2 to 5 inches across the Great Lakes region. Lake effect enhancement could boost totals significantly in traditional snowbelt areas during this more substantial system. Following this, another system moves through during the 6th through 8th period, but with much less winter weather potential. Now here's your promised revelation at 2 minutes 30 seconds. Everything changes dramatically as we approach January 8th and 9th when the atmosphere begins its major transformation. Mark January 10th on your calendar. That's when the cold flip begins. But what's driving this change? Here are the 2 massive global atmospheric drivers I mentioned earlier. First, sudden stratospheric warming events offer remarkable predictability for long-range cold pattern development. What's beginning now in the upper atmosphere would drive polar vortex changes 3 to 4 weeks into the future. The time delay between stratospheric warming and surface impacts makes these events excellent forecasting tools. Currently, the polar vortex maintains strong organization with Arctic air properly contained in polar regions. However, warm air is beginning to infiltrate Arctic regions, setting up conditions for dramatic vortex disruption. When this warming reaches critical thresholds, it forces the polar vortex to displace and split. The second driver is even more compelling. Significant warmth develops near the Arctic Circle, fundamentally altering the structure of polar circulation. This process triggers Arctic air displacement into populated areas of North America. Don't miss what's coming next. I'm about to show you exactly how this affects your specific region. GFS Ensemble modeling shows this polar vortex event developing with impressive consistency across multiple runs. European model analysis shows warm air advancing toward the Arctic around January 10th with remarkable clarity. Extended range forecasts reveal polar vortex splitting occurring 14 to 16 days out from current timeframes. High-altitude warming squeezes toward polar regions, forcing the circular Arctic air mass to fragment. Instead of unified polar circulation, two distinct air masses develop, one toward Russia and Asia, another toward North America. Our piece of the polar vortex becomes much more aggressive in delivering Arctic air southward. Here's where it gets interesting for your local area. The split creates a direct pipeline for sustained cold air transport across the continental United States. This isn't a quick shot of cold air. We're talking about potentially weeks of below normal temperatures. If you haven't dropped your location in the comments yet, do it now. I want to give you specifics for your exact area because this pattern affects every region differently. Temperature departures from normal could reach 15 to 25 degrees below average in many areas. That means if your normal high is 35 degrees, you could see highs of only 10 to 20 degrees for extended periods. Snow potential increases dramatically under this pattern. Multiple storm systems will have access to abundant cold air. This means higher snow ratios and better accumulation potential, even with moderate precipitation amounts. Rocky Mountain totals increase modestly despite developing high-pressure influences in those regions. Storm systems continue affecting southern Rocky areas and West Texas with meaningful precipitation potential. Midwest, Plains, Great Lakes, Northeast, and Mid-Atlantic regions show excellent snowfall opportunities. Multiple chances for accumulating snow develop across these areas as active weather patterns establish. One particularly intriguing medium-range system could bring widespread snowfall from East Texas through the Ohio Valley. This potential impacts Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Northeast regions. Such widespread coverage would create a major winter weather event affecting numerous states simultaneously. However, this remains speculative since today marks the first modeling runs showing this exact scenario. Let me get specific about your major cities because I know that's what many of you want to hear. Chicago experiences clipper impacts this weekend with 2 to 4 inches possible, followed by sustained cold after January 10th. Detroit sees similar clipper potential with enhanced lake effect, then transitions to the season's coldest sustained period. Minneapolis handles multiple clipper systems with enhanced totals from Great Lakes positioning. Buffalo and Cleveland monitor significant lake effect potential as each system passes through their region. Boston and Northeast Corridor face early week clipper impacts, then monitor for significant later systems. Philadelphia and New York City prepare for light early snow, followed by potentially the season's coldest sustained temperatures. Washington, D.C. and Baltimore experience similar progression from minor snow to significant temperature drops. Mid-Atlantic regions could transition from mild conditions to sustained cold within days. Now here's a question for you. How prepared is your area for sustained cold like this? Drop a comment and let me know what your biggest concern is about this upcoming pattern. This pattern development represents exactly what winter weather enthusiasts have anticipated for years. Model agreement combined with global indicator support provides unusual confidence in long-range cold forecasting. Unlike recent winters where cold promises disappeared, this setup has fundamental atmospheric driver support. Polar vortex splitting with maintained Arctic connectivity suggests extended cold rather than brief temperature drops. Areas lacking memorable winter weather could finally experience sustained cold periods worthy of the season. The scientific framework supports textbook conditions for lasting winter impacts across broad geographic areas. Energy demand implications, transportation impacts, and infrastructure stress could reach levels unseen in recent winters. Agricultural zones, heating costs, and regional economies face potential significant impacts from extended cold periods. Emergency management, utility companies, and transportation networks should monitor this developing pattern closely. School districts, construction industries, and outdoor operations may need contingency planning for sustained cold. Here's what you need to do right now. If you found this forecast valuable, smash that like button and make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. This pattern is going to evolve rapidly, and you'll want updates. More importantly, tell me in the comments, where are you located and what's your biggest weather concern for the next 2 weeks? I read every comment and respond with specifics for your area. Healthcare systems in warmer climate areas should prepare for increased cold-related health impacts. Supply chain managers should evaluate cold weather contingencies for potentially extended Arctic conditions. The next 7 days will determine whether this forecast materializes as dramatically as models suggest. Monitoring model consistency and global indicator evolution remains crucial for forecast confidence. What develops after January 10th could redefine winter weather expectations for years to come. This forecast represents the convergence of multiple atmospheric factors rarely seen simultaneously. But here's the big question I want you to answer in the comments. Are you hoping this cold pattern actually happens, or are you dreading it? Let me know your honest thoughts about potentially the coldest sustained period in years. Pattern recognition suggests higher reliability than typical long-range winter weather predictions. The implications extend far beyond weather enthusiasts to impact virtually every sector of society. If you're still watching, you're exactly the kind of engaged viewer I create these forecasts for. Drop your location below and tell me, what would make this the perfect winter forecast for your specific area? January 2025 could mark the return of significant winter weather to areas that have forgotten its impacts. The stage is set for what could become a defining winter weather event of the decade. Before you go, I need you to do 3 things. First, like this video if it helped you understand what's coming. Second, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the updates as this pattern develops. Third, and most importantly, drop your exact location in the comments. I personally respond to location requests with detailed forecast for your specific area. Whether you're in a major city or small town, I'll give you the breakdown of exactly what to expect. The next video in this series will dive deep into the day-by-day progression of this pattern, including specific timing for each region. You won't want to miss that analysis. What location should I feature prominently in the next video? The most requested location in the comments gets a detailed 5-minute segment. Make your voice heard. This is the beginning of what could be the most significant winter weather pattern we've seen in years. Stay informed, stay prepared, and keep watching for updates. Remember, the pattern officially kicks off January 10th. Mark your calendar, prepare your home, and make sure you're following this channel. I'll see you in the next video with even more specific details about this developing winter weather pattern. Don't forget to drop that location in the comments. I'm waiting to help you prepare for what's coming to your exact area.